Welcome to this webinar on Spikedown 2021. Last year it was canceled because of the COVID, the worldwide pandemic, but we're so proud to be able to offer Spikedown 2021 as we return to play this week. As we move forward, Spikedown 2021 will again be held at Game On Sports Complex in the west side of Fort Worth, Texas. Trevor and his staff are anxiously awaiting our return after we were there for sand volleyball, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity for everyone who can join us. As we move forward, a few general ideas to put out there. As we go to parking, Will, if you can drop over to the Google map there, parking with the number of teams that we have coming is going to be a little crowded. What we're asking is that cars and vans that take up a single spot can park in the parking lot for the Game On Sports Complex. And if you're driving a bus, if you could park on that west side of Alameda Street, park there on the curb, you can drop off in the parking lot, but then park back out there on the curb. That would surely help with some of the congestion. Okay, Will. One of the things that the facility is offering is they will offer a fully stocked concession stand. They do have bathrooms provided. However, they do not have locker rooms available. So as you make your plans and get ready to go, understand that bathrooms will be available, locker rooms will not. And that probably has a situation. There's going to be an awful lot of young ladies there, but there will be several moms and grandmas in attendance as well. So we will do the best we can to work through the facilities that they present us. Robert Huckabee, our Associate Director, is here with me today, along with Will Dixon and John Skees, who will both be on site during the tournament. Robert, talk to us just a little bit about the basics of eligibility and what both our TAP schools and our non-TAP schools need to do to help us be in compliance.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much. Welcome to everyone. As Brian said, we look forward to getting back into the games and seeing everyone this coming week at Game On. Remember, these are real games. This is a tournament. These are games. You may have already played a game or two by the time you get to our tournament because that starts next week. However, if this is your first actual game, then please make sure all your eligibility is in Rank 1. Remember, Rank 1, this is our third year of Rank 1, and so you should have all your volleyball students on that eligibility roster. You should have your schedule in Rank 1. That allows, and make sure those schedules are turned public. That allows us to have those scores updated frequently and quickly for everyone to see. If you're one of our non-TAP schools coming to this tournament, thank you for participating in our tournament. We've had several each year. It's been a great experience for our schools and for them as well. We have a process that we forwarded to you where your rosters are just sent straight to us, and we will help assist you with that process.
And as we get moving forward, TAP schools, you also receive that roster. It's just a very basic, give us your kids and give us your coaches. But if you would all provide that, we've received 18. If you've already hit enter on that and sent it on in, we appreciate it. If you haven't, please get on that as we get into next week. Kelly would sure like to have a basic game program for us to be able to use for the book, et cetera, when we get there. So TAP schools and non-schools alike, we look forward to seeing you next week. As we go to pool play, Robert, drop in there and let's just kind of tell them what the day is going to look like. What do you see as the contest rules, Robert, for pool play?
So we're going to have pool play on our first 2 days and bracket play on our last day. So our first 2 days of pool play. Officials will provide one up official for our pool play games. Scorebook, where possible, we're going to try to have people who will handle that duty. If we run a little short, we will need our teams to help us with that. But our plan right now is to have enough people to at least handle the scorebook responsibilities at the table. Lines, we are asking each team in the game to supply a line judge for their games. That does help us tremendously. It helps the officials as we keep our pool play schedule intact. The duration of the matches, we're going to play 2 sets in pool play, first to 25 or a 50-minute time period. That includes timeouts. So we're going to start our schedule. We've got our schedules posted there on our website. We're going to start on the hour. We're going to try to stay on schedule and stay on pace throughout the day so that we can get everybody there. Have a great day of volleyball, but also get you out of there on time so that you can do the things you need to do to go have dinner, get ready for play on the next day.
Slipping on to the schedule, the court numbers will be assigned for each round of pool play. Will, if you would do me a favor and go to the TAP's website and click on Spikedown, just click on that first little deal where it's got the little, send us over there. If you'll click on pool play information, which is the third one down, it will give us our pools, and then if you'll go up there and click on pool schedule rotation, That's where it's going to tell you approximately when and where we're going to play each of those games. And we will add court numbers as well. But basically, the way we're going to do is you're going to have an A-B rotation, and then you're going to have a C-D rotation. So you're going to play around, off around, play around, off around, play around, and then off again. And we hope to extend that throughout the day. Pool E is a little different on day 2. They will actually take a break so that nobody has to play back-to-back. So go to taps.biz, click on athletics, click on Spikedown, or if you can just click on that big Spikedown logo, it'll take you there. Then go to pool play information. It'll kind of give you an idea how the schedule is going to play out. And again, we will have courts assigned for those, each of those rounds, so that you don't have to worry about where to go or when to be there. Bounce on back to the PowerPoint, Will. Our pool play results will be live, and one of the things that we will push those out to the TAPS website, again, on that Spikedown webpage. It'll also be on the TAPS fan app. TAPS fan app is a way to follow all things there, so if you don't have it, it's free. Download it, have your fans download it, and away we'll go. One of the things that, and you'll be able to follow that chart all the way across and know what everybody's record is as the days progress. If we do have a tiebreaker, if we needed, then we will have a two-way tie. It'll be head-to-head. Everyone is playing the same opponents this time. There's no cross-pool play, so you're only playing those in your pool. And then if there's a three-way tie, we will do a point differential between those 3 schools involved. If we're still tied after that, it will be the overall point differential pool play. And if through all that we're still tied in a three-way pool, it'll come down to a coin flip to determine final seeding. So we think that we'll be able to get it on the play on the courts, but we'll just have to see how that plays out when we get there. Robert, talk to us a little bit about bracket play and our expectation for that.
Okay, after we've had our first 2 days of pool play, your results from the pool play will populate you to our various brackets. And as we look at the rules for bracket play, we'll raise the bar a little bit on the competition because we're competing for awards now. Officials will provide an R1 and an R2 for each match. It'll be more like a traditional full volleyball match as you move into non-district and district play. Once again, TAPS will certainly endeavor to provide somebody to handle the table and scorebook. Line judges, we still will be asking our schools to provide a line judge for your matches. And then duration of the match, we'll move it a little bit more. We'll do 2 out of 3. We'll do first 2 sets to 25. We'll need a cap of 30 there to keep things moving. And then if that third set is needed, it's obviously to 15. But we will go to at least 20, but we will have to cap it at 20 because like our other 2 days, we'll need to stay on schedule as best we can.
So I think the scoring changes for both pool play and bracket play are in keeping with our coaches that have attended previous Spike-Downs have asked for, and we're proud to be able to provide that for you. As we go to the bracket play schedule, Will, if you'll bounce back over to the TAPS website for me real quick, we're going to go back down to that Spikedown page, and you're going to go to taps.biz. You're going to click on Spikedown. It's going to take you. You're going to click on the pool information tab. If you would, Will, up there at the top, if you'll go to the battleship bracket. Kelly named them, I think, differently this time than we have been in the past. But for this bracket, it's going to have the pool A and B, 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds will be in this bracket. And you can kind of see one's playing a 4 and two's playing a 3 in the first round. So we're going to schedule that first match. The 9 a.m. matches are going to come across on those 4 courts. Immediately following those matches, after those matches 1 through 3 or 4 are done, we'll go to the hot shot bracket. So now you'll have the hot shot, which is the 5, 6, 7, and 8 seeds coming out of those pools, and they'll play immediately behind. They'll get a 10 to 15-minute warm-up, and we'll walk back through. So basically, we're going to start everything at 9 o'clock, and then we'll move as when we can get those matches on, and we will assign those courts accordingly. So there will be a little bit more to talk about on brackets. Robert, your thought about bracket play?
Yeah, it'll be similar to what we've done in the past. You'll play, and then you'll be off, and then you'll play, and you'll be off. And while you're off, we'll be getting those other brackets on, and on bracket day, we'll be moving all the brackets through the day as quickly as we can.
So we're going to assign the courts to begin the day. We'll begin at the time schedule on that first round match, and you can begin warm-ups a half hour prior to that first serve. If you get there a little early, you can certainly come on in and set up your team area. Subsequent matches, courts will be assigned. Matches should be no more than 15 minutes after the preceding match concludes, so you got to get a pretty quick warm-up in there. And then semifinal matches, we're going to try to get everybody on at the same time. We believe that in the semifinals, we want both teams having equal access to a little rest. We don't want somebody finishing an hour before the other, if at all possible. Our COVID protocols, Robert is our director of compliance, along with being our associate director with the Delta variant out there. Robert, what's the thoughts that we have right now on our COVID protocols?
So here is, Will's got up here our COVID protocols that we're going to use for our Spikedown tournament. Similar to what we did last year. Teams are going to stay on their own benches during the contest. That just makes it easier. We will, between the contests, we'll briefly and quickly sanitize the bench area and the balls as well. So we'll be doing that. We'll need a few minutes. That's part of the reason we have that 50-minute time limit in the pool plays. So we have a little bit of time, sanitize things a little bit, get that team off, get the other ones on, and keep the tournament moving. Mask for teams and spectators are not required, but they certainly are allowed. That's up to your school, your protocols, and the things that you have in place for your particular participants. COVID affirmation will be required each day from our head coaches, so we'll have those forms. We'll have you fill those out for us real quick, just as we did all last year in all of our competitions for your team and your team personnel. You'll be affirming those conditions that you do not have COVID, you do not have the symptoms, nor have you had recent contact with anyone who does. That will be the same of our spectators. By the redemption of their ticket and by entering the facility, they'll also be confirming those COVID situations that we've been dealing with for over a year now.
So along that line, the not switching benches is for this tournament. That's not our plan. We plan to allow the two schools involved once the season gets started. But for Spikedown, teams will not switch benches during the match. We feel like that'll give us an opportunity to sanitize as we go, and we definitely don't want to be a super spreader. We want to be as safe as possible as we move forward. Again, masks are allowed if your school has that in their protocol. If the parents or kids desire that, then we definitely would not stand in the way of that, but we're not going to require them. As you move forward as well, the balls, there was a little, it's not on here right now, but we'll add it once we get through with this webinar. Remember that you're providing your own warm-up balls. We think that will also help in the COVID situation where you're warming up with your own balls. We will provide the game balls, so we look forward to seeing you when we get there. Our athletic trainers will again be provided by our health and safety sponsor, Children's Health Andrews Institute. We look forward to seeing Larry and whoever else he can get out there with him, but we will have 2 trainers on site for the duration. They're there for you if you need them pre, post, or during a contest. They'll definitely be there. So go back, Robert, real quick. Let's just reiterate these contest rules. We've already talked about them some, but let's reiterate the contest rules that we feel like are important at the present time.
So we will do the COVID affirmation each day. That's for all participants and all spectators. Our teams will not change benches during this tournament. That'll help keep things moving along. Our teams may choose to shake hands or wave at the conclusion of the match. We'll leave that up to them. The coaches can visit about that. That's more in line with what you might be comfortable with at your school and your protocols that you have in place. We will certainly honor that either way. Another facility rule that always comes into play when we're at another facility, either hosting a championship or a tournament like this, what's allowed to be brought into the facility? There's no food or drink other than water on the courts. So as you're preparing your team to go onto the actual playing area, only water is allowed in that area. No Gatorade, no food, nothing like that. Our teams are being allowed by the facility to bring a small cooler into the facility. We know that you may bring snacks and things for your players and for your team. We don't want parents, we don't want spectators bringing in big coolers. We certainly don't want any of those on the playing area. If your team is bringing a cooler for your drinks and snacks, kind of keep those out of the way. If you've been there before, you know there's a big walk area there before you actually get onto the playing court. So there's plenty of room to keep those out of play. As you go to the far end of the facility, down where the concession stand is, where our headquarters will be located, there's a big area there that's a snack bar area. And then just right out those doors where we have sand volleyball every year, there's picnic tables out there. There's plenty of opportunities for you to take your cooler, food, and things out there for your team only. Spectators are not allowed to bring food in. Bryan?
So along those same lines, we're looking forward to being there. I think it's an exciting opportunity. We appreciate you being there. For our fans, we will send out a separate fan email, and we will also tweet that out through social media. But all 10 courts will be live streamed on TAPS TV. We'll shoot you the link so you can get those to the parents or fans that can't get there. But all games will be live streamed on TAPS TV. Our social media, on Twitter, we're at TAPS Volleyball. On Facebook, we're at TAPS Biz. So make sure you follow along. If you're taking pictures. If you've got things, please make sure you include us in your social media post. If you have questions, email us at info@taps.biz, info@taps.biz, or give us a call, 254-947-9268, 254-947-9268. As it comes to pool play and bracket days, we'll be answering that phone. It does travel with us, so if something comes up or if you have a problem, please make sure you reach out. We'll do our very best to help reschedule whatever we can at that time. Robert, anything else you have on this webinar before we bail out of here?
We hope this has been helpful for you and you can pass it on to all those who may need it. And like Bryan said, if you have questions, reach out to our office. We look forward to seeing you there at Game On.
Taps.biz, click on the Spikedown Volleyball, or click on Athletics and then go to Spikedown. That's the page we'll be updating. That's also the page where you'll see our additional tweets and you'll see our social media post. We'll also have on Taps TV down there on the bottom right-hand side, I believe, the Taps TV logo. You've already set up the landing page for it to get there. So all of the courts, you'll just have to basically let your fans at home know what courts are on. But we're looking forward, pretty much like we did at Sand and the same thing we did at 7-on-7, providing an opportunity for those that can't be on site to watch the games. Again, we thank you for being a part of Spikedown 2021, and we look forward to seeing you a week from today.